right, Meta Mates. Have you heard about this? No longer will you be called team members, staff, or employees. So you might remember that Facebook, they changed their name to Meta. Well, if you work for Facebook, you are now known as MetaMates. That's right. Imagine a meeting. Oh, dear MetaMates, we are so glad that you brought your skills and talents to Meta. Now, I'm not sure if you heard, but Meta is going to acquire Musil. That's right. Mark Zuckerberg said the Meta-Musil merger will help us move things along. And we are so looking forward to this merger with every fiber of our being. All right. Okay. I know. That was a bad one. Okay. It's not really true, but it was funny. I saw you laugh. I heard you laugh. And welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to America's most trusted source about all things digital. It's the biggest show in the nation about everything digital, as I like to say. All the gadgets and gizmos, making money, saving money, what's left of your security and privacy, which isn't much. And of course, it's called the Kim Komando Show because I am Kim Komando. Funny how that works. And you can find us on over 425 top stations from coast to coast. And of course, we're streaming in your favorite radio app, and we're streaming as a podcast, a webcast, whatever you want, over at getkim.com. And I'd also like to say hello to our servicemen and women who are listening to us right now on the American Forces Network Radio. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open. I'm sure you have at least a few questions about something digital I can lend a hand to. And that number is 1-888-825-5254. All right, let's start this hour with 5 things that you need to know about consumer tech that's happening right now. And we're going to start by talking about that viral puzzle game Wordle. Okay. And maybe you're still upset that the New York Times purchased it. It's all over the internet about that. And there are also all these other clones like Crosswordle or Absurdle. Well, now there's another one. I know, it's crazy. It's called Worldle, like Worldle, get it? So WORLD is part of the name. And so once you're on the site, you see an outline of a country. I've been playing. It's actually a lot of fun. And I'm not so good at, well, I would say like the Eastern European countries, rather. They really get me. But you have 6 chances to correctly guess which country they're. So if you're bored with Wordle, you can check out Worldle. And we've got a link to it over at Komando.com. I mean, and maybe you're not so good at geography. I mean, you know, maybe geography just wasn't where it was at for you. I know. Let's talk about another game, Roblox. You got kids in the family, grandkids, listen up. This is really frightening. Roblox told Bloomberg about 2/3 of all kids across the United States between the ages of 9 and 12 play this game. I remember many, many years ago, Ian used to play it. But it's not all fun and games. Some users are building spaces in Roblox called condos. You're like, oh, little Johnny built a condo. How great is that? Well, according to the BBC, condos are where this kid's game goes full adult. Yes, those little block characters that look like Lego guys, they are playing sex games. That's right. In this hidden part of Roblox, users can chat with each other about sex, post vulgar messages, remove their clothes from these Lego-like avatars. I don't get it. They have virtual sex. Roblox says that it's an issue, but they say it doesn't really happen all the time. I mean, people don't want to really do this on Roblox. The spokesperson said the condo games are usually live for less than an hour before they're discovered and removed. So if there's any kind of silver lining about this seedier part of Roblox, who would ever thought, is that the kids just can't stumble across it. They actually have to go find it. So if you have a child in your family that plays Roblox, use the parental controls so that you can enable all these in their accounts. And also make sure that you get our kids' contract. We haven't spoken about this for a while. Over at Komando.com/contract, we have a whole kids contract for tech. It's absolutely free. Read it with your kids, have them sign it. And the whole bottom line here is that using the internet is a privilege. It's not a rite of passage. Number 3, add a little Chrome to spruce up that old Mac. This is really great stuff. If you have an old Windows laptop or MacBook that just isn't getting any more of these software updates, and it doesn't work all that well anymore, it's just sitting there collecting dust. Well, here's what you could do, is you can give it a new life by using Google's new Chrome OS Flex. It's a free operating system, and it'll work on just about any Mac and any PC. The only requirements, 4 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of storage. Now, if you ever used a Chromebook, you know it's a lot different than just Windows or Mac, and it's not as robust. It's totally cloud-based. But if you have this old laptop and you want to maybe get it going again, check out this Chrome OS Flex. It's really geared, they say, towards cash-strapped businesses and schools with aging computers, but now it's available to all of us. It does put a big focus on Google products, because it is from Google. It makes sense. Gmail, Google Calendar, Drive, other apps. It's available through early access. Beta, kind of, almost, not really. So there could be a few bugs. But, getting a bug-free operating system, it does take time. I mean, you know what they say. Chrome was not built in a day. Oh, all right. Number 4, get tech support for your car. Okay, think about today's cars. They're basically computers on wheels, right? And they have so many chips. The average car has about 3,000 computer chips inside. Did you ever think that would have been possible? It controls everything from the touchscreen infotainment system to the emergency braking system, the airbags, and whether or not you have remote keyless touch, the side mirrors, and lane collision warnings. I mean, think about everything that a car does now. And so to address all the frustrations that people are getting now with these roving computers, this is interesting to me because it's the first time a manufacturer is doing this, and it's BMW. So inside your car, you're going to have video tech support. That's right. On-demand tech support with a live human being. So if you're having trouble with streaming music or you can't figure out why the car isn't charging, that BMW owners can now contact customer support pushing a button in the car or on the phone. And then if the operator decides that you need real tech support for your car, they're going to text a video link to your phone, and then you're connected with a BMW tech with a video call. You just show them the problem with your phone's camera, and then they're going to guide you through whatever it is that you need to get to work. Or they're going to say you need to go take it to the dealer to get serviced. I mean, these computerized cars, they're always causing people to arrive late to work. It must be the hard drive. All right, number 5, prepare for liftoff. I have to tell you, I read this story and I thought to myself, would I actually sign up for it if I wanted to blow this kind of money? So if you're tired of seeing only billionaires make trips to the edge of space, Virgin Galactic has opened ticket sales to the general public this week. And they're looking for 1,000 people who want to take a ride to space through its commercial service that kicks off later this year. A ticket gets you, here's what it is, a fitted Under Armour spacesuit. Oh, how stylish. Membership in the future astronaut community, yes. And right before the trip takes flight, several days of astronaut training. And then you get a 90-minute ride that launches from the Spaceport America in New Mexico, which they say includes, are you ready, signature air launch and Mach 3 boost to space. In other words, in that Under Armour suit, you have a rocket strapped to your butt. And then once reach your destination, they say on the edge of space, you are free to enjoy several minutes of weightlessness and incredible views of Earth from the spacecraft's 17 windows. Wow, doesn't that sound like a blast? No pun intended. Now, everything that comes with the space flight. So how much do you think this would cost? Okay, well, I'll tell you. A ticket is going to set you back $450,000, and you have to drop $150K first as a deposit. Wow. And you thought the only thing holding you back from space was gravity. Okay, so here's a little fun fact, okay? The font that you use, maybe you've never thought about this, the font that you use will actually determine how much ink or toner that you're actually using when you print stuff out. And what's worse is that the most popular font on the entire web is the worst font for you to be printing from. So coming up in just a few moments, fonts that will save you ink and money and time. And of course, we have all of your phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show.
Let me tell you about a revolutionary new mobile voicemail app. If you've got a business, your voicemail is probably filled with messages from customers. Often the messages don't contain all the details you need. But what if you were able to get visual information from your callers? That's something you can't do with a traditional audio voicemail box, but you can with Fillmore Productions Video Voicemail. With Fillmore Productions Video Voicemail, callers receive a link to download the mobile app. There they can view important details about your business, watch videos about what you have to offer, and then leave you a video message. Actors and musicians can showcase what they do, and callers to medical practices or repair shops can report their issues visually. There are so many things that video voicemail can do for a business that makes audio voicemail a thing of the past. Discover what video voicemail can do for your business. Visit getvideovoicemail.com. That's getvideovoicemail.com. That's getvideovoicemail.com.
Our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And hey, I just want to remind you about the Current newsletter. And it's one of our exclusive newsletters. It contains information, tips, news that you're not going to find anywhere else on the site or even here on the show because there's just so much tech stuff to cover every week. It comes out on Saturdays and it comes out on Tuesdays, and I'm sure you're going to love it. And so you can see a sample. You can sign up. It's free over at getthecurrent.com. Once again, it's getthecurrent.com. Kevin in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hello there, Kevin.
Hey, Kim. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for your call today. And how can I help you out?
So I have just recently changed residences. I'm kind of homeless right now. And that I'm between homes. I closed on my home the first of the month, and I'm closing on my new home the end of next week.
Wow. So did you have to move twice?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Here's the reason why I asked. Me raising my hand, so did I. Okay. And I, so.
I'm sorry.
I know. It's like, and it's like, do we even bother unpacking a box? No. Okay, so we're just going to, I needed some new exercise gear. I'm just going to go buy a new outfit, so rather than trying to find it. Yes.
So what happened in this transition is I basically am cable TV less. And so I started grabbing the over-the-air signal. Well, when I put it on over-the-air antenna, I sit here and I grab up to 50 channels.
Right, that's great.
And I got surfing through it, and it's really decent programming. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, I think I might just fire my cable providers.
Nice.
The only thing I really miss from cable is the ability to record programs and to actually put it in pause. So like when the wife calls, says dinner's ready, I can hit pause on a show and come back later and pick up where I left off. So I'm just is there a solution out there that you may know of that could maybe help me get those features?
It's funny how these little things in life suddenly become really important, right? I mean, it's a total first world problem that you have right here, Kevin. Is that I need to record things and I want to be able to, so when my wife says dinner, I don't miss this question in Jeopardy or Judge Judy or whatever. Maybe,
Yeah.
Okay, but but there are such solutions. Okay. They're Amazon. Okay. And by the way, I will tell you that they're not cheap. Okay. Because I can tell you're the frugal type of guy. Okay. So, the solution for this that Amazon has that really does work. And they have something called the Firecast, or pardon me, the Fire TV Recast is what it's called. And it's a terabyte drive, and it will hold 150 hours of over-the-air programming. And it does everything that you just asked. It'll record, it'll save. You can get a guide, and so you can save an old Western movie that may be coming up on, or Bonanza or whatever, wherever it's playing, and whatever you might want. And it's about $275. Okay. Now, if that's too much money, there's an alternative to that that's 500 gigs, and it's made by TiVo Edge. And it will also record and do everything that I just mentioned, but it's 500 gigs, so you're not going to get. It's going to be cheaper because you're not getting that terabyte. So you're going to get 70 hours of programming, which is still a lot of programming, right? I mean, it still is.
Right.
That's about $200, and so the solutions are there. And I wish I could tell you that they were $10 or $20, but it's just. But you think of all the money you're going to save with cable, right? I mean,
right.
And think of all the money that you're saving because, you're not dry cleaning as much because you're wearing the same outfit every day because you're living out of boxes. So there's always some upsides to everything. So I'll post some links to these over inside the Komando Community and the Q&A forum. So if you are using over-the-air antennas and you want to save that programming, there are some really great ways to make that magic happen. But again, as I mentioned, it's not so cheap. Kevin, thank you for your call. Oh, and speaking of, we're talking about fonts, okay? Let's talk about the worst font, okay? Because I'm sure you never considered that the font that you use for your documents determines how much ink or toner is consumed when printing. The worst one is Arial. It gobbles up 20% more of your ink than the other fonts, but it's actually the most common font that's used on websites. Now, the best font that you should be using is Times New Roman. You get almost 30% more pages printed using Times New Roman over Arial. Coming in a close second is Calibre, which isn't the most professional, so you might want to use Century Gothic instead as an ink-saving font. But just remember, overall, Times New Roman is the best font that uses the least amount of ink. Stay right where you are. Brand New or Not True is coming up, and it's going to be a blast.
Let me tell you about a revolutionary new mobile voicemail app. If you've got a business, your voicemail is probably filled with messages from customers. Often the messages don't contain all the details you need. But what if you were able to get visual information from your callers? That's something you can't do with a traditional audio voicemail box, but you can with Fillmore Productions Video Voicemail. With Fillmore Productions Video Voicemail, callers receive a link to download the mobile app. There they can view important details about your business, watch videos about what you have to offer, and then leave you a video message. Actors and musicians can showcase what they do, and callers to medical practices or repair shops can report their issues visually. There are so many things that video voicemail can do for a business that makes audio voicemail a thing of the past. Discover what video voicemail can do for your business. Visit getvideovoicemail.com. That's getvideovoicemail.com. That's getvideovoicemail.com.
That's right. It is time now for Brand New or Not True, and it's a radio game show sensation that I invented years ago because we have so many different tech products out there. And sometimes you shake your head and you're like, what were they thinking? And then other times you're like, wow, that is really amazing. So when playing Brand New or Not True, and you're playing at home or if you're a special guest contestant, it all works the same. I present you 3 different products. 2 I completely made up. They don't exist, at least that I know of, and 1 is completely real. So it's up to you to decide which of the 3 products is the real product. Now, you will notice that no product names are given. That's because some people are cheating. I know. And then if you do win Brand New or Not True, and if you are our special guest contestant, you get the most coveted prize of all time. You get an official Kim Komando Show fanny pack valued at $24.99. That's right. And if you'd ever like to be a contestant for Brand New or Not True, you can go ahead and just send us a note through the website and say, hey, I want to play Brand New or Not True on the air with Kim. And you can do that by heading over to komando.com. And in the right-hand corner at the top of the page, there's a link that says Email Kim. So joining us this week from Chicago, Illinois, WLS is our big station there, is Margaret. Hello there, Margaret.
Good afternoon, Kim. How are you?
Good. Are you ready to play Brand New or Not True?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. What do you do there in Chicago?
Well, I work at a safety net hospital, and we take care of patients who cannot afford to pay for anything. Oh. And I do mammogram, CT, MRI, and bone density here.
Wow, that's awesome. So you are pretty tech savvy, I can tell. And so you should be really good at this. So here, you ready? Product number 1. Yes, product number 1. Thanks to the global pandemic, we've all become germaphobes, haven't we? We sanitize doorknobs and ourselves, and we've gotten used to 6 feet of separation from anybody else. And because so many people have become accustomed to not being close to anyone and not really wanting to go out of their homes anymore, there's a new layer, and I'll explain that, to help out. Thanks for GPS technology, it's simple to know whether or not a place is crowded. I mean, Google Maps does this. When you search for a restaurant or store, it will actually tell you the time of day when it's not crowded. Well, a developer has added a new layer to Google Maps showing how crowded streets are in major metropolitan areas, and then also suggest alternate routes so you'd be traveling on the streets with less people. It's going to launch in New York City, Chicago, London, and Paris. Not that Paris, Texas. The developer for this Maps overlay is a true legend, and it's free. Product number 2. You ever walking around and suddenly go, I have got to go potty right now? Well, thanks to a new app, you know how many feet you are from the nearest WC, the loo, the potty, the bathroom, the toilet. With this new app on your phone or tablet, it's the quickest way to find a public bathroom or restroom. You just open the app and it shows you the nearest toilets. It's free, no in-app purchases, has over 200,000 potties in its database. and you get step-by-step directions on how to get there. They tell you which toilets charge a fee, which ones need a key. You can also rate and report toilets. You can get reviews on whether you should sit or squat too, because after all, what did one toilet say to the other? You look a little flushed. And it's free. Product number 3. Come on, Margaret. I know you've done it. Have you ever smelt your own armpits to see if you stink? Have you ever done that? You know what I'm talking about. You lift your... Yes, you lift your arm.
Like on Saturday Night Live.
Yes, you lift and you look and you take a little sniff. You go... well, those caveman ways are out. Now, thanks to new stenchology sensors combined with an innovative smartphone app, you'll get an instant notification when your BO is stinko. Plus, you can keep track of your BO and check during the day by scanning yourself with a handheld body odor detector that attaches to your phone's power port. It's equipped with special sensors designed to detect chemical compounds that are most commonly found in these funky body odors. And of course, the app will keep track of all your BO readings. And there are some pretty good testimonials for the device. I saw this one. I'm a lawyer, and now when I come into the courtroom, the judge no longer says, odor. $89.99. All right, so you got 3 products. You can tell what's going on in my mind. You have the germaphobe app. Product number 1 is the germaphobe app. Product number 2 is the app to tell you about the toilet near you. And product number 3, we'll just call it the smellometer. So, Margaret, it's a big prize. It's a big prize. It's a fanny pack with the Kim Komando Show logo on it. So which of the 3 is the real product? Which one?
The one that seems to stand out the most is the bathroom one, number 2.
Product number 2. Let's go to our judges. Margaret from Chicago says number 2, the toilet app. Yes. That's right. You won. Yep.
I can't believe it.
That's right. But just remember, there it is.
I'm going down the drain again.
Come on back, Margaret. Come on back, baby. Come on. Yeah, so it's the toilet app. That's right. There's actually several of them out there. But just remember what Confucius says. I don't know if you've ever heard this.
Okay, let's hear it.
Man who stand on toilet, high on pot.
Oh, geez.
All right. Come on, Margaret. It was bad. I know.
But it's good. It's Friday here for sure.
All right. So, Margaret, what's on your mind? I know you have a question for me. How can I help you?
Okay. So, last weekend, Google Drive sent me a message stating my drive was overloaded and I needed to delete some files. Well, I figured, okay, Google Drive, no problem. But it took pictures from my actual phone, my Android phone. And I can't find them. I've called T-Mobile. I called Samsung. I even called Google. And they said there's no way to get them back, that somebody would have to go, operate on my poor phone. So I thought about you, and I said, if anyone knows, you would know, maybe there's a software such as like a data recovery like we use for hard drives or something. Maybe there's something out there that I can use for this drive, either for Android or iPhone or for both. Is there such a product? If they got one for a bathroom, I'm praying to get one for my phone.
Well, so who do you think is smarter, you or Google?
Who knows today?
Okay, right. Okay, so here's what I think happened. And I consulted with John, too, when we saw your call coming in. And John, everybody needs a John. Okay, John is my IT genius. Okay, John fixes everything that's broke in my life. And Mary, you know what? John has every one of my passwords. So that tells you how highly I think of John, right? I mean, every single one of my passwords. Okay. So what John says is that he thinks that the phone was full, obviously, and that Google, in its infinite wisdom, decided that, Margaret doesn't need these photos anymore. She hasn't looked at them for a long time. So we're just going to move them to photos.google.com. And so what you do is go to photos.google.com and then log in with the same Google account there on your phone. And then you can also check the Google Photos app on your phone. Don't use the camera roll, okay? You want to use the Google Photos app. And so if you try that, I bet you're going to get you're going to see all your photos. 'Cause it's not likely they just went in and deleted them, Margaret. That doesn't happen, okay? Unless you had different options checked, and I don't think you probably did. So again, just go to photos.google.com and sign in with the same Google account that you have on your phone, and I bet you those handy dandy photos are going to be there. And give me a little email back and let me know that works, because I don't want to leave you hanging if it doesn't. Margaret, thanks again for being such a great contestant, and yes, congratulations on the Kim Komando Show fanny pack. It's coming your way. All right, this week's digital life hack, I'm just going to mention it here on the show because there's a lot of step-by-steps, and I don't want to give you the step-by-steps on the radio and on podcast and on the air because you're not going to catch it all. But I just want to give you the gist of it. Say that you have a whole bunch of photos and you have videos and you have music, and you want to be able to have all that accessible to anybody in your home, maybe even when you're on the go. You don't want to sign up for a streaming music service or what have you. And you want to create your own media server, your own template, if you say, like your own heaven of everything that you have as far as media. So you can keep copies of, as I mentioned, your movies, your photos, your shows, your podcasts, whatever. It's like a central hub. And we call it a home media server. Now, it may sound complicated, and it's not, especially when we've done all the hard work for you. So you've got different software that you can use. You have Plex versus Kodi. Over on the website, we have a chart comparing how they differ and which one is our preference. And then we're going to make sure that you have a big enough hard drive to handle all this. Ideally, you want a system that runs Windows 10 and at least 4 gigs of RAM. And then we're going to tell you how to activate the media server capabilities. And if you don't have an old computer, this is a little known secret. You can use a relatively inexpensive Raspberry Pi to do the trick. So this is one of these DIY projects. And if you are thinking about it, you want to know what it's going to take and how you get started, head over to Komando.com. And then you want to click the link that says Kim Show. And stay right where you are, because still to come this hour, I'm going to tell you about a hidden Google Map feature that will show every single place that you've been here on the Kim Komando Show.
Let me tell you about a revolutionary new mobile voicemail app. If you've got a business, your voicemail is probably filled with messages from customers. Often the messages don't contain all the details you need. But what if you were able to get visual information from your callers? That's something you can't do with a traditional audio voicemail box, but you can with Fillmore Productions Video Voicemail. With Fillmore Productions Video Voicemail, callers receive a link to download the mobile app. There they can view important details about your business, watch videos about what you have to offer, and then leave you a video message. Actors and musicians can showcase what they do, and callers to medical practices or repair shops can report their issues visually. There are so many things that video voicemail can do for a business that makes audio voicemail a thing of the past. Discover what video voicemail can do for your business. Visit getvideovoicemail.com. That's getvideovoicemail.com. That's getvideovoicemail.com.
Now, if you are a fan of short tips, these digital life hacks, these insider secrets, because after all, a lot of things with tech, they don't come with a manual. You just kind of learn by doing, or you see somebody else do it. Well, that's why you want to sign up for our Digital Life Hack podcast. It's just 1 minute a day. That's it. And it comes with the daily tech update, also 1 minute a day. So wherever you get your podcasts, search for Komando with a K, of course, Komando, and then make sure that you sign up for the podcast, the daily tech update, and the Digital Life Hack podcasts. And back to the phones we go with Matthew in Dallas, Texas. Hi there, Matt.
Hey, Kim, how are you? No, it's great to be a caller. I feel pretty honored. I mean, I love listening to your show because it feels like it keeps me connected to the tech world.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just had a question. My grandmother, she's really hard of hearing, and she has a special headset for her cell phone so she can talk on it and hear everything. But she misses like phone calls because she can't hear it actually ring.
I see.
So was wondering if there's like a strobe or something else that we can assist her so she doesn't get missed calls.
So, are you talking about her cell phone?
Yes, her cell phone.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? There's a cradle that she can put her phone in.
Okay.
And it's a charging cradle rather. And then so when she puts that in, when the phone rings, it'll flash. And so this way she can see it across the room. There's also another gadget, and let me just tell you about this, because that would be a simple solution. That's exactly what you need. And I'll send you a link to one that you can buy on Amazon. But a lot of people don't realize that they can actually have, and especially if somebody's older, that they like to hold a real phone, and I don't know if she's that type, and, because you can get a real phone and you can turn that volume up super high, and then you can turn the ringer up super high. But there are ways that you can pair a smartphone with a handheld phone, a portable phone. And so, if that's something that would be interesting too, because then, with the old-fashioned handheld phones, is that they would also light up, right? And
yeah, she likes that.
And then they would also have a really loud volume and a loud ringer and things like that. So I'm going to send you a link. I'm going to post a link, rather, of that little flashing cradle that I was telling you about that has a USB charging port. And also VTech in Uniden, they make these really it's an interesting thing. I mean, if you really like an old-fashioned handheld phone, is that you can pair your smartphone with a handheld phone using Bluetooth so that you can even get an answering machine. Yes, beep, leave the message at the tone. And I'll post links to those over inside the Komando community. That's komando.com/community in the Q&A forum. And Matt, thank you so much for your kind words, and thanks for your call today. Coming right back, a hidden Google map that shows all your travels here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, if you can't remember every place where you've been in the past few years, don't worry. Google does. Yes, they track your every move. Google tracks your whereabouts even if you're not using a Google app. You just have to be logged into Gmail, Chat, Maps, or some other Google product. And you might be shocked when you go to this address, timeline.google.com. You sign into your Google account, and then on the left-hand side, you can narrow down your travels by the year, the month, and the day. Now, if all this bothers you, whether you'd like to remove all that tracking or make sure it doesn't happen again in the future, here's where you go. On the lower left, there's a box that says Manage Location History. That's where you can get back, some of your privacy. I mean, after all, we are talking about Google. The address again to see that hidden Google map that shows all of your travels is timeline.google.com. You just need to sign into your account. Stay right where you are. We have another jam-packed hour coming up here on the Westar Multimedia Network.